This is the conclusion of my search for my mother's father. In part 1, I left off at the search for Johnny Lee Robertson because we thought he might be my mother's father. Like I said before, he had one sister still alive on his mother's side. Trying to get in touch with her was very difficult, but I found some information online on True People Search about her whereabouts, and I sent her a letter stating who I was and the reason I was contacting her. But I never heard anything back. Shortly after, I had heard about another sister she had that was in a nursing home that she had recently passed away. One of the cousins I had contacted texted me and told me her mom was going to go to the funeral and she was going to try to talk to the sister to try to get some information on Johnny Lee Robertson. Come to find out, she really didn't have much to tell, and she didn't really have any photos as well. But I didn't give up. They also sent me an obituary. So what I did was, I saw some of the sisters who had passed away's kids on there. So I started looking them up on Facebook. Turns out, I discovered 2 of them. So I sent them messages, but I got no response. Some time had passed, but one day, another one of the sisters' profiles popped up on my page. So I decided to send her a message. She responded back right away, and we began to talk. She was very helpful because she told me about Johnny Lee Robinson's daughter. So you know me, I tried to find her, and when you know it, I found her info online, which she had a family member's info on it as well. I couldn't really find her on Facebook, but I was able to find her daughter. And her daughter and I hit it off very well because she had been wanting to know information about her grandfather as well. Remember, he was murdered in 1960? I told her my story, and her mom were both willing to take the DNA test. A home run, I thought. Their test came back really fast. We did match, but her mom didn't match my mom as a sister. As a matter of fact, she was kind of low. So that was a complete shock. I really thought my mom's father was this Johnny Lee Robertson. So now what? I thought maybe it's time to give it up. But something in me just wouldn't let me do it. Then one day my mom told me we got a new match. And he's matching her 465 CMs. CMs are centimorgans. CMs can give you an idea on what type of relationship you share with a DNA match. 465 was saying first cousin one time removed or half grandnephew niece. I thought, wow, who is this guy? He wasn't really matching the Spraggins line, only a few people that I could see. Sometimes if the match is really low, you can't see him. You know what I'm saying? But he was matching these 2 other people who were kind of high on my mom's list as well. I had contacted the young guy before and thought I was related to him on his father's side. But turns out I was related to him on his mother's side. This new match and the young guy's mom were first cousins. So it looked like this guy who was matching my mother 465 centimorgans could possibly be my mom's half grandnephew. But on which side of the family? I found the match on Facebook and we began to chat. They all were from Detroit, Michigan area. That's funny because one of the clues my mom's mom told her about her dad, he said he was from Detroit. It's a trip when you see a bunch of relatives you never knew before. There is a large clan in Michigan that we are all kin to. The lady that they all were kin to was this lady named Murray Richards. But she had married a Jackson. So since Murray was the common thread, I had to figure out, are we kin to the Jacksons or are we kin to the Richards? So I started getting in touch with some of the Jackson people. One lady I got in touch with, she referred me to another lady who said she wanted to speak with me. And she began to tell me about Murray and her father. See, her father was a brother to the man Murray married. And the guy we matched 465 Centimorgan's father was Murray's son. But she told me that his father wasn't really a Jackson by blood. She also said that she had took DNA, but we weren't matching her, and neither was that guy who we matched 465 Centimorgans. Aha! So if he's not really a Jackson, we must be matching from the Richard side. So now I'm just focused on Murray and her parents. Her dad was a Richards and her mom was a Hudgens. Both of these people were from Alabama. I had noticed before from some of the census records that Murray's mom was born in the same town as these Spraggins people. I thought, maybe one of her sons is my mom's dad. I did see that she had two sons, Murray's brothers, but honestly, they both seem to be kind of young to be my mom's dad. You see, the mom was born in 1910. If she did have another son, then she would have had to have him at like 14 or 15 or something like that, which is possible, but I couldn't find one on a census. And speaking all to the family members, no one ever heard of another son. I thought to myself, I need to find him on a 1930 census to see if she had a child with her. So I just decided to look on FamilySearch.com. Lo and behold, I ended up finding her marriage documents. And she had got married in 1927 in Mississippi. But for some reason, her husband used his middle name. So with that information, I was able to find them on a 1930 census. And they only had two kids with them, Murray and a man named James Richards Jr. James Richards Jr. to me seemed to be too young to be my mom's dad. Because remember, he was in the Army in 1944. I found a military registration card for James Richards Jr. and it said he had registered in 1946. So I thought it couldn't be him unless somehow he was in there in 1944. I started to think maybe it could be him, and the records aren't just telling this real story. It's possible, right? I also seen that there was a military card for his father, James Richards Sr. Now, he was definitely in the military in 1944, but he just seemed a little older. But he was there. Without finding another son on the census, I started to be convinced that he doesn't exist, and really started to think maybe it is the son, James Richards Jr. I was so convinced, I put his mom on my family tree just to see if Ancestry would give me some new information on her. Lo and behold, I was correct. I got a hint that another person had her on his tree, and his last name was Richards as well. I started looking at his tree, and he had a James Richards III on it. I thought, So I started to look him up. I did another online search and was able to find his information and also the person who made the family tree. So I decided to email them both. Wouldn't you know it, the guy who made the tree responded right away, and he told me to call him. So I did. We hit it off very well. And truth be told, I can tell he was family right off the back. He was so cool, he agreed to take a DNA test. He thought my story was quite interesting. So after about a month, his DNA test came back, and its results were the highest we've ever had on that side of the family. 1,183 centimorgans. Wow. So what that means is that my mom's father is either his father, his uncle, or his grandfather. After speaking to him, he gave me some clues. He said his father died in Bibb, Georgia, and that his grandfather was once in the paper for being a successful newspaper carrier, although he had retired from the Ford plant in Detroit. So now we have it narrowed down to 3 possibilities. And here's the kicker. This news guy's DNA test came back matching all the Spraggins people. So somebody in his family is definitely a Spraggins. So what we do know is that his uncle was only 12 in 1944. So the chances of him being my mom's dad is very slim. And there's no military record of him being in World War II. Now his father had a military record, but after doing another deep dive, it turns out his father was in the Navy, not the Army. So that leaves only one person, the grandfather. Ding, 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 ding. My mother's father is the grandfather. Wow, what a journey. But it wouldn't be complete without seeing what he looks like. We need a picture of him, but nobody seems to have one. But he did say he was featured in the paper. So what I did was I went on newspaper.com to see if I could find an article about him. Lo and behold, I find it. There he is. It was an article on his successful paper route. Just like he said, it was like finding gold. I did show it to him, but he said that's not the one that he had seen. He said the one he had seen was his whole face. But I was satisfied with the one I found. But you know, the Columbo in me, I had to do another deep dive. After doing some more fishing, I find it. The featured article of him with his profile and all. He was 7 years old in this picture. I can't say that he really looked like me, but I can see that I have part of his head. My mom has a long face and eyes, and my brother has a smile. Wow, mission accomplished. I started this journey in 2017, and in 2022, we found him. But I couldn't have done it without help from the family. This is a chapter closed. Well, I still have to find out who his parents are. But right now, I feel rich. Oh, what a feeling it is. You can just call me Fish. Baby, baby. It's my black dream, man, I see it's having things. No respecting queens, but you know we raising kings. And it's got me dreaming like Martin King. Man, I'm seeing things, it's like a black dream. It's time to use the game, it's time to rearrange. It's what I'm spitting flames, and we do it for the name. It's a black dream, my black dream. No shootouts, put them guns down. Party cracking, bumping the sound. Family get together's nothing but blood. I'm seeing kin folks, call it my cuz. Come in closer, I'ma give you a hug. When we see peeps, it's nothing but love.